In lesson 13, we're going to look at triangles. We're going to look at all the different parts of different triangles. First thing we're going to do is classify the triangles by their angles. If we look at triangles by their angles, then there are three different types of triangles. First one is an acute triangle. An acute triangle, its definition, all three angles are less than 90. So this may be 50, this may be, I don't know, 60, 70. But all the angles are less than 90 degrees. The next triangle we have is an obtuse triangle. Hopefully you can see this well. Hopefully the glare isn't in the way. Try to use different color markers, but they don't show up as well. Obtuse triangle, though, is where one angle is greater than 90 degrees. So we have a triangle here, and I'll trace it so you can see it a little bit better. And it has an angle that is 100 degrees. That one angle being greater than 90 degrees makes it an obtuse triangle. And then the last triangle we have classified by angles is the right triangle. And a right triangle, its definition is it has one angle that is 90 degrees. And usually that's represented with the box. One angle 90 degrees, therefore it is a right triangle. So those are the three different triangles classified by their angles. You also have three ways to classify triangles using their sides. The first one is an equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle, all three sides are the same length. They're congruent. Isosceles triangle, I'll trace this. Isosceles has two sides that are congruent. Okay. And then the scalene triangle, no sides are congruent. So that's kind of the progression there of different triangles being classified by their sides. The next part in triangles we want to look at is we talk about base and height in triangles. But what is the height in a triangle? How do we know that it's the height? Because say we have a triangle that looks like this. Well, what's the height? Well, what you have to know is that the height is always perpendicular to the base. So here's our base. So our height would actually be inside the triangle. And we would have to figure out what the height is in order to find the area if we were trying to find the area. If we had a right triangle, then we would already have the base and height. That one's easy. If we had an obtuse triangle, well, this solid line is not the height. The height would actually come exterior to the triangle, and it would be perpendicular with the base. This is not perpendicular, this is, so therefore this is the height. So if we look at example 3, it wants us to find the perimeter and the height of this triangle. And it gave us decimals because they're awesome. But perimeter of triangle STR. Perimeter is just all the sides added together. Now, which sides are the proper sides? We know RS is 31.5. We know RT is 40.26. The part that could be confusing is which one is part of the triangle, here or here. Well, this is dotted. This is actually outside the triangle. So therefore, the 12.5 TS is your other side of the triangle. And if you add that up, I'll just do it in a calculator real quick. If you add that up, it would be 84.26 centimeters for your perimeter. I guess I drew a spot right here. Always remember your measurement. And so that would be your perimeter. Now, how do we find the area? Well, what is the formula for an area of a triangle? Formula for area of a triangle. Formula for area of a triangle is area equals 1/2 times the base times the height. Now we just need to know what are the base and what are the height. 31.5 is our base. We're looking at this direction, so 31.5 is the base. Now, which one is the height? Well, if you look back at this triangle right here, is an obtuse triangle. Height is always perpendicular. And in this case, it's outside the triangle. I did forget to draw the little box, but the height is perpendicular, therefore 10 is actually your height. And when you multiply all that out, you would get 157.5 centimeters squared for your area. So that is just looking at triangles a little bit deeper. But hopefully that is pretty easy, just the 3 classifications of triangles by the sides and angles, and then knowing what the height is, that it's always perpendicular.